Hello ladies and gents, I am Tiffin and welcome back to From the Depths Ashes of the Empire Community Edition. So in this episode let's have a look at some of the new designs to replace all the casualties we have sustained in the previous episodes. So to start with, we have the Baneblade Ashes of the Empire version by Damad.82. This is a much larger version of the Baneblade tank, of which we've had the Baneblade in the past. So it is considerably larger. So you have a very large cram piece there, big APS gun there, and the secondary APS there. These might... oh no, they are the same speed, so they should aim nicely there. Load of simple autocannons at the side, and then... wow, and laser has a cannon on the top as well. Nice. Let's see how this thing performs. Again, I'm sending against something Onyx Watchy. Might be a little bit too strong for it, but we will see. So quick turns of fires its main gun. That main gun doing a considerable amount. So unfortunately it's lost a load of its front wheels, so it can't turn particularly well. But it is still fully comp operational. It's taken some internal component damage there. Have a look at its target. Its target is just taking severe damage by that main gun. Oop, the main gun just overshot slightly there though. But it is doing a very nice amount of damage, and you can turn any further, it's going to fire the cram cannon as well. There we go. Yep, this is a very robust design. Can't see if it's got any shields, but it could just be that shields are being defeated by inertial fuses. Forms quite similarly to the Baneblade, but it is quite a lot larger and I'm hopefully quite a bit tougher. The Baneblade has survived an incredible amount, and this seems to be able to do so too. Next up, we have the Boombox by Charcharodon. So this is, well, it's a heavy armor box with, what was that, 9 cram cannons on a gun in there? Yeah. Wheels at the back there. I think that's because this thing tips when it fires. We'll send this against the Sentinel. Oh, good grief for that recoil. Recoil saved it though. It didn't actually get hit. And its target is eaten it all. Yikes. That's what cram does. Love it. Look at that. Look at that horrific barrage. Okay, 2 barrages. I'm not sure what's left of the Sentinel. Oh, it's somehow got its turret block left. Yeah. Yeah, that is an insane amount of damage. It doesn't move much, but maybe that's because it got hit by cram. But that, when it fired, it partially flips itself, which actually is quite good, a defensive tactic. So hopefully that will do very nicely in the campaign. It's cram cannons. They either work or don't against the Onyx Watch. Quite random really. So hopefully it will do nicely. Next up though, we have the Challenge 2 by Archangler. It's one of the realistic builds, and this is a very nice rendition of the Challenger. Utilises the ERA as tank tracks there. More components there, and also nicely done with the camouflage as well. Not exactly good on this terrain, but it's still very nicely done. Camouflage on From the Depths is very difficult to get even remotely close to looking like any sort of proper camo scheme. So I think the Onyx Watch will be a little bit tough for this, but we will see how it performs regardless. As I said before, a lot of realistic designs, they don't have resilience as other designs, but it seems to be doing pretty well so far. It's just absorbing the cram cannon hits in the sleep. It's got a nice cannon there. What is that gun? Let's have a look at the ammo. Access intakes, what we got? Squash, nice. That's a nice little squash round in there, and that is very good against the Onyx Watch. So, looking forward to utilising it there. Should probably have put in some anti-aircraft units in this spawn lineup today, but there we go. I want to be using some of the ones which I haven't really utilised and keep it with some different designers. But yeah, Squash very, very effective against the Onyx Watch. And are we mobile again? Yes, we are mobile again already. Fantastic. It's going to perform very nicely, I think. Next, we have Heavy Gun Tank by Tostov, an HF2P. Ooh, that's a very nice looking aesthetic. I think it looks really quite fancy in my colour scheme there. Big railgun up the top there. These can now be painted, so they weren't expecting that. So, yep. What we got here in the gun? Access intake with combination a disruptor and hollow point HE frag mess thing. Nice. And I can just see the shimmer of a lot of shields. This should do very, very nicely against shielded and unshielded targets. That's a nice fast shell. Just shot quickly there. Yep, that is a nice round. Just deployed a load of smoke. So the inertial fuses are being set off by the shields. So it is now pretty much stationary due to it now being grinding against the ground. But what is its resilience like? Its resilience is good. And it's now mobile again, so it should now be able to avoid cram shots more readily. Yeah, and those shields are nicely away from the hull, meaning that the amount of damage is reduced quite considerably by the time it reaches said hull. Barrels have been cut short though, but with that rail addition, that doesn't matter so much. Good, nice fire rate, and a very futuristic, nice aesthetic. I think this will be a good addition for the Onyx Watch forces. Next up we have tank by Sinflower, a 174mm. Is it? Oh, it is actually a tank. I thought it was actually a hover then. Nope, it is a tank, and yes, it is 174mm. Just going to remove the alpha map of the shields. Give me a second. There we go. Now I can actually see what's going on. Ooh, that is a really nice effect there. I'm going to have to utilise that myself. Very simple, just angling the blocks ever so slightly, just to give a little bit more shape to an otherwise flat panel. Intriguing. Now, I do think the Onyx Watch is going to be a bit beyond this, so let's send it against something white flary. Cataphract. It's a very fast turning turret. A decent fire rate on that gun. Okay, target is going away. I'm just going to restart the designer. Actually, let's send it against Taipan. Have not killed the Taipan for quite some time. Kind of missing its destruction. And it two-shot the thing. Fantastic. Now let's send it against the Cataphract again. So let's see how it can deal with something a little bit tougher close up. The headshot seem to be doing nicely. Ooh, that was a nice turn. Yeah, the accuracy is good, and those shields are performing very nicely. I do have a nasty feeling, though, that the Onyx Watch will completely murder this thing. But we will see. Maybe I'll include this in Steel Empire Force. Yeah, I might do that. We'll see. I'll see when I get into the campaign what the level of the forces are like. And finally, we have a fix for the pre-war bomber, the Sky Blaster, featured in the last episode by Monk Lizard. So this should now properly bomb its targets. So spawned a few houses down there. Oh, good. Yes, yes, the bombs are definitely launched. Excellent. That is fantastic news, that the bombs are now actually being launched properly. Let's see if it will come in for another attack run. But it does seem to be a little bit difficulty reloading, but maybe that's just the way it is. So there we go. The bombs all get launched. That was really quite awesome seeing it from that direction. Okay, it just shot itself. And then they all glide down, striking at their targets. Awesome. Nice little array, and those bombs, if they get sitting around, will always find a mark with their magnets, which is really quite cool. As you can see, that one there is gradually finding its way towards this house here. Just like that, see? All the bombs will eventually find their mark. Awesome! So let's see, spawn these all in the campaign and see how they do. Though I should probably have done a little bit more in regards to anti-air forces for the Twin Guard. Though that may change. I may spawn something in during the battle as it progresses. So the Steel Empire force is actually lacking a little bit in forces, so I will spawn in a couple of vehicles here. So we've got 2 new vehicles, the Quickfire and the Boombox in the Steel Empire force. And over in the Onyx Watch force, going to spawn in the other designs. Right, well, I wasn't able to hold off the Twin Guard forever, and it looks like we're going to be facing off against them here. Thankfully it is the Twin Guard force. Unfortunately, I still haven't actually organised them properly as of yet with anti-drone warfare. So the battle begins fairly readily there, and straight away a lot of laser fire from the Twin Guard, though nothing really too worried about at the moment, because weapons are quite powerful. Nice, very strike there, blowing out almost the entirety of the engine and levelling me up, which is always quite nice. Big missile strike, and there is a fairly strong, potent attack. The cheese is aiming at something vertically in the sky, which just suddenly got vaporized. So I think that was one of the Ren drones, and yes, it got vaporized by my flak cannon, which is aiming up through the hole there because I didn't set it up correctly, but no matter. The boat is still in 2 parts and is now slowly joining back together. Predator tank going in very nicely, close in range. Bad against most of the factions, but against Twin Guard it seems to be fairly safe. And there we go. Destroyed the base and it all fell down, and very quickly the battle is won. A very quick battle, in fact. Much quicker than I was expecting for facing off against Twin Guard. Hopefully all battles with Twin Guard are this quick to complete. Excellent, that actually wasn't that difficult. I was expecting it to be quite a lot tougher there. Only took minimal damage by the looks of it. Nice. Oh, good grief, the Steel Empire are moving all over the place. Well, let's go and attack one of the Twin Guard bases. Need to do something about clearing out these tiles. It looks like the Steel Empire forces were built, so let's just go engage them and see how the Boombox and Quickfire all work. Well, we're getting ready to begin. Hopefully this time the repair bots will actually function as repair bots. Otherwise, we may take a load more casualties. But we'll find out in a second. So yes, this is quite an interesting battle. A lot of these tanks are very missile focused. It does look like a couple of the missiles are duds, and they don't fire properly. So maybe there's a little bit of a problem with the config there, or just glitched out. They all seem to be firing straight away at the boombox. And that is thrown up into the sky and lands directly on top of one of our friendly tanks. The rest of the tanks seem to be doing okay, and unfortunately, one is going right in for the close kill, which is going to put it into extreme danger from basically friendly fire, and also get hit by all the missiles from Captain Evil's. And there we have one of the first collisions we've seen, and just keep on running into each other, breaking off more and more blocks. These guys do have a lot of lambs, which is taking down a fair number of missiles, which is interesting. Not much has in the way of lambs, though they're now focusing on all those cram cannons from the boombox, which unfortunately fall very far short due to the enemy tanks retreating at a fair pace. Their shields are deflecting other rounds as well. Just checking them there, and they are eventually dying, firing pretty much long distance with simple autocannons and a slow rate of fire coming up from missiles. So pretty much the main danger has already passed. Those initial couple of barrages were the most deadly portion of it. The repair bots are working fine. The repair heavy and Type F, as you see there, just check it over. Type F is kind of slow on the ground, but it is just safe from those missiles, and it's quite happy repairing the boombox, which fires another huge barrage of crams, all very closely together. A bit worried that it's going to land straight on the pack tank there, but it just skims right over it, and falls way off to the side, well away from any of the Steel Empire forces. Again, just checking the health of all the Steel Empire forces, and noticing that they are dying fairly quickly. There we go, that one is disintegrating there. It's down to the base, and just seeing how long it's going to take, but yet it's going to be disintegrated momentarily, and thus victory is ours. Well, the battle's finished. Unfortunately, didn't really have much of an idea of how well the boombox was functioning, since it just got focused so heavily, as is quite often the case with all of Charadon's design. Simflower's tank did very nicely, went in very close. It would have been quite disastrous against the White Flayers, but worked very, very nicely with the Steel Empire, it seems. But now we just need to finalise this force and then go send it against the Onyx Watch. Right, as I suspected, that exploration team decided to come and attack my forces, so we're going to do a preemptive strike on them and clear them out. So we are a little bit way off, but the enemy are in the distance and we should be able to take them on quite handily. So let us go. So immediately a load of shots come out from all our tanks, and a big barrage of cram shells get launched towards our foes, though looks like they all fall short. These tanks did do a fair bit of damage when we faced them in the past, but this time we should be a little bit more prepared, having a good amount of repair capabilities. You're going in for its kill, and it's actually going in way too close again. It's going to probably cause a little bit of issues, particularly as it rams in and almost completely destroys itself, stripping off the entirety of the base hull, and then being completely in line for a load of friendly missiles, and then gets rammed by the other tank there, which means it's basically dead already in a few moments. And the other tanks weren't even aiming for it, they just rammed right into it. Enemy tanks are still doing quite strong, and firing and destroying one of the Viper tanks there, having popped the turret, which is a bit of a shame. Those tanks have done very well, survived all sorts, and so losing them to the Steel Empire is a little bit of a shame. The Steel Empire is a decent faction, a very very balanced in terms of their strength. Towards the higher end, I'd say, but I still think the Onyx Watch are definitely one of the more potent forces, particularly for the style of play which I am going for in this Let's Play, which has a lot of focus on tanks. Of course, I could easily win if I took them out with cannons and air cannons. They're just checking the inside of the tank, seeing, oh, it looks quite volatile. And yes, it is very volatile. And there we go. That is the battle ended there. So we did lose the Quickfire. It decided to ram and kill itself that way. We also almost lost one of the light Viper Mark IIs. It was just moments away from despawning, but thankfully it was able to survive long enough to carry on in the fight. So the pair drones were working, which was brilliant. Okay, the Onyx Watch attack force with 2 rhinos. So yes, this Onyx Watch force with 2 rhinos, I am going to watch this one, even if it results in a wipe. To fight this battle and move everything around, because I want to ensure that everything has a really good position. So all the new vehicles are going to be on this wing over here. And I've also put in the Benny Blade nearby, just to compare the difference between the Bane Blade and the Benny Blade. So we have ourselves a lot of shots coming in. There's a bit of a slow start to begin with, as all those cram cannons are launched and fired. Thought they'd fire a little bit of the wing, but nope, they're all firing straight towards some of our flying forces, which is great because they all miss. The Gatling Cram there is firing away at long distance and is going to be a target of cram cannons very shortly. And there they are, hitting nearby, breaking off some of the tracks, but thankfully nothing too direct as of yet, though there is still plenty of time in this battle for that to occur. Benny Blade moving right in, having taken a fair bit of damage, but the Bane Blade is staying at more of a long distance, but does seem to have lost part of its track up front there. The Challenger and the Heavy Tank both moving in, firing at long distance. Not doing too great at the moment. Looks like the my laser hover there just took a nasty strike and basically turned offline, so I jump onto it to get it back repaired, because that should be constantly firing. It looks like the AI must have got shot out, so it's only taken 1% damage. And look at that, this shot just passed straight through the cannon there, or underneath the gap between the cannon and the base hull there. So despite absorbing a lot of cram, or having a lot of cram fired against it, it's thankfully being not too accurate to have completely annihilated that main gun. It is mostly hitting the base, but I suppose without the base, the main gun won't be able to aim properly and will basically be a non-moving static target ready for destruction. The rhinos though are basically dead, which is great. So flick over to F9 and see, yep, AI dead. Well, I could have probably captured that if I'd noticed it a couple of seconds sooner, but I do like to keep the interface away because it does take up a fair bit of real estate, and particularly that spam on the left side there just gets in the way as it keeps on coming around. But there we go, this leaves the last tank there. You can just see the AI, and unfortunately the laser hover is not managing to hit it, but everything else is just bombarding it at long range, and it'll be only a few moments before it disintegrates into resources for my taking. That was a rather successful battle. Took a lot of damage. We'd lost one of the White Moons. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. Unfortunately, you are defeated. The rest took a lot of cram damage, but thankfully the Onyx Watch were pretty inaccurate with their cram. So it meant that I was not taking as much damage as I could very well have been. For the Steel Empire, I want to try and just do as much against me as possible, really. Just going to claim this tile. There we go. I'll now claim that tile, so they shouldn't reinforce that any further. Ooh, Twin Guard are being attacked. Let's go and deal with this one, even though it's Steel Empire. But I think everything's set up okay, so let us begin. Make sure of spawning all the land. Yep. Let's begin. And this should be very, very quick, because what we're facing? We're facing 3 planes. A big barrage of missiles, but otherwise, not much of a threat. Missiles from both sides go out, and pretty much all of them aim towards these couple of vehicles over here. And it does look like this Steel Empire do still use a lot of narrow chrome fragmentation, which has its damage massively reduced in current versions of the game, as a part of a balancing factor to remove the 1 degree spam, which essentially made it like stupidly powerful penetrating strikes. But even with that, they haven't done that much damage, and they are essentially already disabled. I thought I might be able to capture them, but then I changed my mind and thought, you know what, they're already dead. Might as well just speed through to the end of this battle and just wait for the victory music to sound. And there it is, victory. That turned out to be a nice simple battle, not too difficult from anyone there. We did take a bit of damage on crosshair forces. I think it was mostly self-inflicted ramming attacks. The Steel Empire are really, really aggressive. They're just attacking us from all directions. But I'd rather take on this Onyx Watch force first and see how that goes. Right then, let's go observe this Onyx Watch battle. On a fair lineup here, be considered by the central forces. If that gets bombarded by all those crams, that could cause a problem. But we'll find out how that is in a moment. Let's go. Let us go indeed. Straight away a big barrage of cram shots go by. I thought they might have hit my tank, but nope. They just fall a little bit short of their respective target. Some shots do pass through that tank though, particle accelerated, causing damage to our own vehicles. Big barrage of cram shots go completely wild and go anywhere near where we want to go. Benny Blade though, no, that's the Bane Blade, not the Benny Blade. Bane Blade is taking a nasty barrage of strikes because of how many guns it has. It has a lot of nasty guns and is very potent, but it does mean that it will quite happily get blown up in itself. So tank moving in for kill, but it does make it a little bit more dangerous for cram cannons, particularly because a number of these vehicles have cram broadsides, so going in close means that you can open yourself up to being shot at by more crams. The Bison is a prime example there. Just quickly checking out how we're doing with the health of vehicles, and jump on Bane Blade to try and repair it up, because it is getting disabled. Its movement is disabled, but it is still functional. The Gatling Crampage is now getting massively bombarded and taking a significant amount of damage. Thankfully it has a lot of heavy armour, which is mitigating the high explosive rounds, but even so, it is losing blocks left, right and centre. We do level up though, which is always nice, but the damage the Gatling Crampage is sustaining at the moment is significant, as is that Bane Blade, and we do look like it lost a vehicle there as it despawned, which is not good. Another nasty strike, which looks like has disabled the Gatling Cram, and it is down quite low on health, though thankfully it looks like it is going to survive this battle due to how little the enemy has left in their forces. Firing a couple of crams at us, and there's a bombing run as well performed there, just in the little distance. Laser again striking at long range. Not as accurate as I would like at that sort of distance, so I'm probably going to have to look at adjusting how that is built to try and improve the accuracy of that laser, because I want to be able to use that tech in a much larger craft for use in Nita. More crams being fired in all directions, and I thought, you know what, let's try and do some sort of capture on this vehicle. So I head over towards it. Unfortunately, it is essentially the last vehicle in the Onyx Watch forces, so by the time I get onto it, it is now the target of everything in the area. I can hear all the fighting going on, all the strikes, so I decide, you know what, let's just speed it up, destroy the gun, remove as many blocks as possible, and I get hit by a load of Hesh fragments there. Right, so that was another win against the Onyx Watch, though I think we did lose some more things. Oh, we lost the Sky Blaster. I'm going to let that back in because it didn't perform at all last episode properly. So I'm going to let that in. Unfortunately, we did lose the Metal Gear. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. Though I am honestly surprised it lasted this long due to how unstable it seemed in some of the fights. The Baneblade took a real beating that time, but so did the Cram Gatling, I think, with both parts. If that was focused onto one of them, they would have been destroyed, but thankfully it was spread across all three, and so they were able to repair all of it up and not take too much damage, which was all very good. Oh, and also I did not want to go into this battle, but I was going to end the episode, but it looks like we're going to have to go in this battle regardless. It seems a fairly short, small force, so hopefully this battle will be fairly quick. Yes, it should be fairly quick. There are only a couple of very small vehicles. This could be quite irritating to fight because there's so many small blocks, though the other two designs, despite having a very high amount of spam Gatling guns there, just gets hit and cored almost instantaneously by all those missiles and all the shots. And similarly with the missile, drone, the helicopter, and I think it's the Hake, is it? Is also AI dead. So, very, very quick victory. That was very quick indeed, though we still managed to lose the brush cutter. Did we lose brush cutter? Ah, no, it's the... Managed to lose that to the brush cutter, but it does survive. But I'm going to end the episode there and also slow it down any further before anything else goes wrong. So, it's going rather well, I think. Could definitely do being better, but I think this is quite strong. We're still losing forces to the Onyx Watch, but the Twin Guard and Steel Empire are doing rather well thus far. But that's all I have time for this episode, so thank you very much for watching this episode of From the Depths Ashes of the Empire Community Edition with myself and a Diffin. If you did enjoy the episode, please leave a like and or comment below, as it is always good to hear from you lot. Also, be sure to check out the rest of my channel for more From the Depths videos and other games, and be sure to swing by the Discord channel for more interactive direct chatting. Otherwise, that's it for me for now, and I shall see you next time. But until then, I'm out. Bye!